So whenever we find ourselves in a time of crisis, it's really common to watch social media and see people making light of it. A lot of us, that's kind of our coping mechanism. We joke about it. And some of the jokes that I've seen recently deal with people referencing post-apocalyptic movies and TV shows. So they'll be talking about I Am Legend, Book of Eli, Walking Dead, The Road, and inevitably, the Book of Revelation gets brought up. While it's a really important book, and it is God's Word, we live in a culture that really doesn't know how to read Revelation, and it really doesn't know how to read apocalyptic literature in general. And yet, at the same time, the Book of Revelation, I think, has a lot to speak as far as encouragement for us in a time of crisis like this. If I could boil it down to just 6 words that the whole point of apocalyptic literature was about, it's this, is that things are not as they seem. Things are not as they seem. So when you read an apocalypse, when you read things like the Book of Revelation or some of the prophets in the Old Testament that were apocalyptic, you were supposed to come away going, there's so much more going on that I don't even realize is happening here. And so for a lot of us, we get into this crisis. We know that there's this coronavirus that's affecting our country, it's affecting our world. We know there will be an end to this crisis that we're in the midst of this now. But honestly, we don't know when that is. We don't know how bad it's going to get. We don't know if staying home 2 weeks is going to be the end of it, or if it's going to require more than that from us. We really don't know. And so we're left to ask ourselves, well, what do we do right now? What would God say to us? So when we look at Jesus' words, he spoke to some of this in John chapter 16. He'd been talking to all of his followers about how there was going to be a lot of struggle. And he says, your grief is going to be there, but it's going to turn to joy. Your grief is going to turn to joy. And specifically, what he ended up saying was this. He said, I've told you all these things so that in me you may have peace. Because in this world, you'll have trouble, but take heart. I've overcome the world. And when John later, many years later, writes this apocalypse, the book of Revelation, and he gets down towards the end of it in chapter 22, Jesus says, hey, I'm coming back soon. And when we hear that as God's people, we can take the same comfort that the people who heard it a couple thousand years ago, they did. That's that when Jesus comes back, things change. Because when Jesus comes back, evil gets removed from the world. When Jesus comes back, that includes sickness. Sickness has no place in this new world. When heaven comes to earth, and there's this new earth, this new world that we get to live in and we get to help rule, sickness has no place in that. When we get focused on the end, we know that we win, that this is going to get better. That does speak hope. It does speak encouragement to us where we sit in the middle of this crisis right now in 2020. And so right now, as soon as you finish watching this clip and you go back to what you're doing at home or at work, wherever you are, I would really challenge you. Go and speak truth and encouragement where you can. Give some comfort where you can. If it means you need to go and weep with those who weep, do so while social distancing, of course. If it means rejoicing with those who rejoice, go do that. But regardless of what you do and where you are, be praying constantly, as I'm praying, that God will bring your perspective back to his perspective. Because at the end of the day, we can bank on those 6 words that we talked about earlier. That is the whole point of apocalypses and the book of Revelation and what we can walk away with. And that is this, that things are not as they seem.